Tracking, alerting, protecting. This is WKYT News at 6.
More than 1,000 people gathered to say goodbye to a firefighter. We'll show you the final tribute.
We're asking city leaders how a former firefighter charged with DUI and assault passed a background check despite having past criminal charges.
New details tonight about a robbery where the owner of a truck stop opened fire on the robbers. WKYT News at 6 starts now. Good evening. Tonight we're learning more about how a former Lexington firefighter passed a background check before he was hired.
Jared McCargo is charged with DUI and assault. Police say that he ran into people with his SUV outside the beer trap Friday night. The city fired him on Monday, but since then we have learned he had other criminal charges in his past. WKYT's Sean Moody went to city leaders for an answer. It's our top story at 6.
This evening, the beer trap will be the center of efforts to raise money for a Guam National Guard soldier hurt in an accident here Friday night. Today, though, a lot of the focus has been on the man who police say was behind the wheel, former firefighter Jared McCargo. Police say Jared McCargo backed into Guam National Guard soldier Noel Espino outside the beer trap, then crashed into the bar. Espino's recovering at UK Hospital. McCargo was arrested and charged with DUI, assault, leaving the scene of an accident, and driving without insurance. According to our partners at the Lexington Herald-Leader, McCargo had a warrant out for his arrest in Georgia. He was also a Lexington firefighter.
Pre-employment background check, we're limited to the administrative office of the courts and the private vendors.
The Herald-Leader reports that warrant was issued in Cobb County, Georgia in 2002, 3 years after McCargo was charged with DUI there. They say it's remained active ever since. The Lexington Fire Department said that information didn't show up on their background check.
A lot of that depends upon how diligent the various states are at reporting their records to those vendors.
Battalion Chief Joe Best says the fire department doesn't have access to the kind of extensive background checks that police departments do.
One of the things that we don't have access to by law is the national database. In other words, we can't do the same background check that law enforcement officers are subjected to when they apply for the police or the sheriff's office.
Now, the city has fired McCargo. Earlier this week, he pleaded not guilty in Fayette County Court. In Lexington, Sean Moody, WKYT.
The Herald-Leader reports the warrant is non-extraditable. What that means is Lexington police cannot send McCargo back to Georgia, but if he ever enters Georgia again, he can be arrested.
More than 1,000 people packed a small-town church today to say goodbye to a firefighter.
The service for Captain Tony Grider in his hometown of Columbia in Adair County lasted nearly 2 hours. The mourners included family, friends, even people who never knew Grider. The 41-year-old died Saturday, 1 month after suffering injuries while helping during an ice bucket challenge in Campbellsville. Following the funeral, a long processional carried Grider's body to Mount Pleasant Cemetery in Russell County for burial. This video from Sky First shows the long line of cars, fire trucks, and motorcycles accompanying Grider on his final ride. WKYT's Sam Smith begins our team coverage with a look at how Grider was honored once his body arrived at his final resting place.
Captain Tony Grider was laid to rest at Mount Pleasant Cemetery in Russell County. It's the same cemetery where many of his family members are also buried. Grider received full honors this afternoon, including an escort from first responders. Bagpipes and his fellow firefighters finished off the escort, leading his body to his gravesite.
Tony's precious, and the whole family is. He has 5 sweet kids, and he's always had a smile on his face.
Helen Richards says Grider deserves this burial ceremony. Grider died from injuries he suffered while assisting in an ice bucket challenge with the Campbellsville University Band. The people in his life call it tragic. His death was felt throughout the region because Grider worked for several different fire departments in the area, and he touched a lot of lives.
Yes, what happened was sure tragedy. I mean, to the whole community, and not only our church, but a lot of people, a lot of churches. And everybody has really went out for him. And I appreciate it, and I know they do.
In Russell County, Sam Smith, WKYT.
In lieu of flowers, the family asks for donations to Supporting Heroes, the American Diabetes Association, or National Society for PKU.
Today's funeral really showed just how big support for Grider and his family is today. WKYT's Phil Pendleton continues our team coverage with more on how people from all over came to pay their last respects.
Many of the throngs of people who filed into Columbia Christian Church called it a tribute for a fallen hero.
For us, that's a very important thing to do. This is dangerous work. There's no question about that. It is what it is. And when things happen, we come together to honor the life of this person.
2 rooms in the church were filled to capacity. Hundreds, perhaps several thousand, heard a message they called a celebration of Grider's life.
This was a guy that loved what he did, and what he did represented his concern for life, for the lives of his community, for the lives of his co-workers.
But some who took part in today's activities never stepped inside the church for the service, but they still had a big show of support. Joe Hare was the lead for the Patriot Guard Riders. He understands a little about loss.
I guess one reason that it's really touching me, I lost a son in '06, 31 years old.
He knows Grider's father and says the number of riders today is just another way to show support when at a time like this, it's badly needed.
The more people the family can see, the more flags they see out here, the people standing on the side of the road, the better it makes them feel.
All a part of what they call the healing process. In Adair County, Phil Pendleton, WKYT.
Police say that 2 men suspected in a robbery where shots were fired committed another robbery. Winchester police say Devon Marshall and Curtis Wilkerson tried to hold up the 96 truck stop yesterday morning. The owner ended up shooting at them, injuring Marshall. Police say the pair also robbed a tax driver on Monday. Marshall remains in the hospital after the shooting. Wilkerson told us from jail yesterday he is innocent of both crimes. He pled not guilty to the truck stop robbery today.
No responses have been filed yet in a wrongful death lawsuit involving a boy who drowned at Transylvania University. 13-year-old Ricky Harris died while swimming in a pool at the William T. Young Campus Center in June. He was attending an academic summer camp. His family has sued the university, camp counselor, and 2 lifeguards, saying their negligence and recklessness led to Harris's death. The defendants have 20 days to respond from the time they received the lawsuit. A Kentucky woman murdered in Chile will be remembered tomorrow. 22-year-old Erica Hagan was found dead in her apartment earlier this month. The Georgetown College graduate was teaching English at a school there. Police say a school security guard has been arrested in the case. Hagan is from Western Kentucky. One memorial service will be tomorrow night in Owensboro. Another will be Saturday in Marshall County. Georgetown College is planning a memorial as well, but no date has been set.
A judge declared a mistrial after the defendant's attorney became sick. Robert Holland was on trial for robbing a Rite Aid in Frankfort nearly 2 years ago. The State Journal reports Holland's attorney became ill during the trial Monday morning and had to be taken from the courthouse on a stretcher. The trial will be rescheduled for another date. Holland is also charged in a second Rite Aid robbery and a theft at a lawn care business. Tonight, we're learning several Jimmy John's restaurants in Kentucky have been affected by a data breach. The restaurant says customers' credit card data was stolen from 216 of its shops between June 16th and September 15th. Affected shops include the one in Palomar Center in Lexington, Magnolia Drive in Georgetown, and South Highway 27 in Somerset. Hackers also stole data from locations in Florence and Louisville.
An alert tonight about a scam involving the Yellow Pages. The scam targets businesses. Companies have been receiving a form saying it needs to be filled out if they want to be included in a new online directory. While the form says it's not a bill, the fine print shows by signing and sending it back, the business agrees to pay more than $1,000 for 2 years. The publisher has an F rating with the Better Business Bureau.
The issue with these types of Yellow Pages solicitations is, first of all, they'll use the logo of the walking fingers, that familiar logo everyone has seen for years associated with Yellow Pages directories. This logo is not copyrighted, therefore any company can use it, and that's where the confusion lies.
The publisher is located in Boston. BBB officials say if an out-of-state company claims to be with the local Yellow Pages, that's an immediate red flag. Police have issued a scam alert for people in Lincoln County. Stanford police say they've received numerous reports of people getting calls asking them to wire money somewhere. The Interior Journal says police have also asked people to be on the lookout for fake cash. They say counterfeit $100 bills have started popping up around the area.
Police have arrested a man suspected of stealing from a storage unit. Harrodsburg police arrested Aaron Berner today at the Bluegrass Inn on South College Street. They say they found many items in his room, including electronics, clothes, and toys. The Harrodsburg Herald reports police think the items were stolen from a storage unit. 2 people have been sentenced for stealing from a national park during last year's government shutdown. Andy Anderson received 18 years in prison and Jeremy Coffey 15 years for thefts from the Kentucky side of the Big South Fork National River and Recreation Area. The pair stole thousands of dollars in equipment. Some of the stolen items were found at a pawn shop, which led to Anderson and Coffey's arrests.
A grand jury has indicted the star of a Kentucky reality show. Verlin Short is charged with drug trafficking in Letcher County. Sheriff's deputies arrested Short during a roundup back in April. He appeared on Snake Man of Appalachia on Animal Planet 2 years ago. The show followed Short and his family, who have deep roots in snake handling. In the indictment, officials say Short sold Percocet and oxycodone to an informant. A busy Lexington road is getting a new traffic signal. We'll tell you where it's located.
And a change to the upcoming meeting on redrawing district lines for Fayette County Public Schools. We'll have the update.
That's not the only thing changing. Some changes working in toward that weekend forecast. We'll break those down for you as we track a little rain toward Kentucky when I come back in a moment.
A committee working to redraw school lines in Fayette County will meet tomorrow. The meeting begins at 4:30 tomorrow afternoon, but it has been moved from its original location. The meeting will now be held in Conference Room C at the Fayette County Public Schools main office on Main Street. A traffic alert tonight. A major Lexington road is getting a new stoplight. The city has installed a new light at Manowar and Darby Creek. The work has been done the past few days. The light, though, is not functional just yet.
They're doing their part to fight hunger. This afternoon, several community leaders volunteered at the God's Pantry Food Bank at the Village Library in Lexington. As part of Hunger Action Month, the leaders served healthy snacks to neighborhood school children.
You're always hungry when you get home from school, and you got to settle down and work on your homework, and programs like this where kids have a safe place to get tutoring assistance and help with their homework, and now complementing that program with a nutritious snack, it's just really, really a fabulous way to work with kids.
More than 80 children are signed up for the food bank's after-school snack program.
Now, your hour-by-hour forecast with Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey and First Alert Defender.
It's been a very quiet but a very nice weather period overall across the Bluegrass State over the past really couple of weeks. Gorgeous sky that we have out there this evening. You know, fall is noted for a lot of the clouds that you see right now in our live sky cam. Those are actually ice crystals that are way, way up there. They're not producing precipitation or going to produce precipitation. They're just very cool to look at. Give our skyline a little bit of flavoring. Should make for a gorgeous sundown coming up here very shortly. Not as chilly overnight on the Daily Breakdown, with some late weekend changes that will eventually lead to some rain that will be on the way as we go into the first half of next week especially. Nothing on Live First Alert Defender. We have to go into parts of the mid-Atlantic states to find a whole lot of heavy rain. That is going to bypass eastern Kentucky, but it is a very close call. Some of those rains getting as close by as southwestern Virginia over the next couple of hours. 24-hour planner with temperatures later tonight dropping into the upper 40s and low 50s tomorrow afternoon. Hey, let's just replay today's forecast, shall we? A lot of upper 70s that will be showing up with a partly sunny sky. The main influence on our weather all week and over the next couple of days will be this area of high pressure. That's the same one that brought the chill in here the past couple of days, but the flow around this is now reversed now that the high is off to our east. That gives us dry weather, mild afternoons that border on the warm side, and those crisp autumn overnights. Speaking of crisp nights, we have another one ahead of us on the hour-by-hour breakdown. Upper 50s show up by 11 this evening. Early tomorrow morning, upper 40s and low 50s. Noontime, that same dry air that really chills down after sunset really does the opposite. As this sun comes out, it warms up fairly quickly, so we'll head toward the upper 70s tomorrow afternoon. Then we kind of rinse and repeat tomorrow night. And for the day on Friday, maybe a little more of some of those wispy thin ice crystal clouds into the afternoon, but we look good to start out the weekend. Most of that nice weather rolls on into Saturday with upper 70s to around 80 degrees. Shower threat may try to get in a little earlier on Sunday. The earlier we get some clouds and showers, the cooler that temperature will be for a high into the afternoon. But odds do favor some rain by the second half of the weekend and early next week. Not so much to start the weekend out, but as we go into Sunday night and Monday, look at the rainfall beginning to increase across parts of central and eastern Kentucky. That's coming from a system that is down in the Gulf of Mexico. So a little shot of some tropical juice early next week. That's a sign of a pattern change that really takes hold as we go into the first week and a half or so of October. Short term, not a whole lot of change. Upper 70s to around 80, lows into the low and mid 50s by the start of the weekend. We look good for Saturday. Most of Sunday is dry, though. End of the day, a couple of showers wander by our skyline. May get soggy for a period Sunday night into Monday, and then that big change will hold off until after the 7-day forecast. Between now and, let's say Sunday, it's more of the same.
Enjoy the present.
Exactly.
Yes.
It's beautiful.
All right. Thanks, Chris.
Rob Bromley is next.
And some young linemen are doing their job for UK.
Among them is a walk-on left. He draws some praise from Mark Stoops, and Kentucky calls on the 16th president. That's right, Abe Lincoln, to draw a record crowd at last night's soccer game. Sports is next. The Kentucky Wildcats have been getting some good play on their offensive line from some young players. Redshirt freshman Randy Myers and Kyle Meadows have both turned in good performances, and so is walk-on Cole Mosier, number 74. Mosier started at Florida in place of the injured Zach West. Mark Stoops feels it's been a steal, with Mosier just walking on.
Yeah, absolutely. You feel like you got a steal. Absolutely. Anytime, you get a walk-on that works his way into the starting lineup and plays effectively, you feel good about that. Of course, we will eventually reward him with a scholarship.
I was really anxious before the game, and I came out at the first play. Nothing really mattered. It was kind of loud, but other than that, nothing. Did well at times, and there's times where you could tell I was a freshman and young, so I just need to work better on those things, and then they'll come along.
It'll be a noon kickoff on the SEC Network this weekend. Kentucky and Vanderbilt from Commonwealth Stadium, UK in search of its first league win since 2011. Two of our top 10 teams going head-to-head Friday night. Henry Clay and Lafayette get together. Could be a classic regular season shootout. Both have dynamic playmakers, both have tremendous size, and both have the kind of speed most teams just dream about. The Blue Devils say the Generals are the best team they will have faced to this point.
So far, yes, they're the best team on our schedule, and we're going to prepare for them as if they are the best team on our schedule.
Lafayette's got a really fine team. Coach Shaw is doing a great job, and they've got some fine players. And I know when I first came to Henry Clay, the Lafayette game was a big game. And, I think it's the oldest rivalry in the city. We don't really have what you call a bona fide, best in the city program. Wish we did, but we don't. And one of our goals is to be the best team in the city. And in order to do that, you got to beat them.
I know you've heard of whiteouts or blueouts or blackouts, but last night the UK soccer team hosted an A-bout. That's right, an A-bout in honor of our 16th president. Lee K. Howard was on hand for the festivities.
Thank you. Enjoy.
When you're not the UK football team,
Got your ticket?
or it's basketball team, let's be honest. You have to find ways to bring in the crowds those sports attract.
Enjoy the game.
What we wanted to do is try and do something creative, get the fans on out here.
And for the university's soccer stars, bringing in another star makes sense.
Do you have pennies? Do you have pennies? No, I don't want money.
Not every cent.
It'll be cheaper if you pay a penny.
Pennies, actually.
That way you can save your money.
If you don't have pennies, it's regular price, which means $7.
Decided that using kind of the state's favorite son,
Two pennies.
bringing Abe Lincoln into it,
It's honest, eh?
giving the fans just something new and exciting to do.
The 16th president loved UK.
He was a Cats fan. He was a Cats fan. It's a proven fact. You can Wikipedia it.
The Cats play just a few miles away from his wife's childhood home.
We actually tied everything into the Mary Todd Lincoln House here in Lexington, giving all proceeds from our penny sales to them. It's something that we can tie back into the community.
And on the night when the Cats faced their biggest rival just a few days shy of 7 years ago, they dedicated, consecrated, celebrated for we the people of the Big Blue Nation and for Lincoln's favorite team. At UK, Lee K. Howard, WKYT.
And the Cats didn't win the game, but they did raise more than $400 through penny sales and donations for the Mary Todd Lincoln House. Eric Bledsoe staying in Phoenix. He gets 5 years, $70 million. We'll be right back.
A beautiful evening in downtown Lexington.
Yeah, we got
and everywhere else.
Our sound folks up there grooving out tonight. A little look outside. We look good again. Next couple of days, those temperatures about where we have been this afternoon. A lot of upper 70s, flirting with 80 degrees for highs.
All right. CBS Evening News with Scott Pelley's coming your way. Thank you for tuning in tonight.
Our next newscast is tonight, WKYT News at 11. Thanks for joining us.